T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Mark, and I'll be your host on this evening stream where we're going to talk about tech, life, culture, whatever the heck we decide to talk about on this live stream. This is a new channel I'm kicking off. I've grown a couple other channels here and there, but I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to do some late night streams and kind of experiment a little bit and see what takes and what people want to hear about. I talk a lot about finances, stimulus, ways to increase your business acumen, your lifestyle in general, just kind of holistically kind of help you level up in life. And if you do enjoy this type of just chill, relaxed, late night vibe. Every now and then we'll play a little music. Every now and then we'll have some guests on as well. Kind of like a late night podcast you can listen to, maybe while vibing, while working, while hanging out at home by yourself, while chilling. Just something for you to enjoy a little bit, give you a little value, and kind of brief you on the week, brief you on the current events and trending things that are happening in our culture right now. So without further ado, guys, we're gonna kind of see what's popping this evening. We're gonna jump into some different articles that I've researched and looked up. There's things from Apple, Tim Cook celebrating his 10-year anniversary, to blockchain experts, to short squeezes in the market with a new company that maybe you have never even heard about. But we're gonna kind of just dive in and just see how it goes, guys. So just hang out with me. If you do appreciate any of this content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel as well. Guys, I get a lot of my information from a really, really neat website called Morning Brew. Now, usually we get a lot of this information first thing in the morning. It kind of briefs you for the day, tells you what happened in the last 24 hours. It's got market updates, it's got latest articles, trending topics, and it's a really good source of information. And so if you haven't subscribed to this website, definitely go ahead and check out this website. But it has really some really good stuff. One of the things that piqued my interest this morning when I was checking it out was Tim Cook's 10-year anniversary. This guy literally took Apple to the next level after Steve Jobs left us. God rest his soul, rest in peace. Tim Cook brought Apple to a whole nother space, a whole nother place. Apple is not the same company it was 10, 15 years ago. Tim Cook has done, let's see what it says. Tim Cook, under Cook's management, Apple's market capitalization have grown around 600%. Check that out. To $2.5 trillion, making it the most valuable company in the world. Apple's revenue in 2011, when Cook took over, was $108 billion, and in 2020, just last year, it hit $274.5 billion. And Apple is now known as one of the most profitable companies in the world. It's pretty cool. Tim Cook brought some of the things into Apple that Steve Jobs maybe had cooking, but wasn't able to bring it into fruition, manifestation while he was alive. Some of the things that Tim Cook contributed to Apple were getting the Apple Watch launched and brought out to market. The second thing was AirPods. AirPods kind of set the industry standard for in-ear devices, so you can listen to your music wirelessly. There's, they've had some partnerships throughout the years, but they just continue to kind of rebrand and redevelop and reconfigure the way that these Apple earbuds fit in your ears. There was some over the years. There's been some complaints about how they, maybe they don't fit well or they need to be redesigned. But gosh, for the most part, guys, everybody I talk to loves their AirPods. So it really, I guess, it depends on preference. But just like Tim Cook, just like Steve Jobs, Steve Jobs brought the Apple iPhone, but the iPod to market. Tim Cook took over and kind of brought it to the next level. He's kind of like the Elon Musk of Apple, of mobile technology. Apple Watch, Apple AirPods were some of the things that Tim Cook brought to the table. And it's interesting because he's been here for 10 years. I guess he had a 10-year contract. He said in a press conference recently he does not believe that he'll be here for another 10 years. So we might be hearing some information, some news, some breaking news coming down the pipeline over the next year or two. Maybe there's a new CEO that's going to take over. We really don't know what the future holds for Apple, but we do know one thing. If some type of new CEO does take over, it's an easy way for the market to begin to panic and for the stock prices to drop, right? So if you're into Apple long term, you know that you're not going to be rocked. You're not going to have loose hands whenever the market does dip. But whenever there's major changes in a company, whether CEOs leave or a new CEO takes over, or there's some type of controversy that takes place in a company, there's always a little bit of volatility that happens with that price of that company, and it's important to know that if a new CEO does take over Apple, that it's going to get a little rocky. But if you have strong hands and you believe in the product and you're not going to sell, you should be 100% fine. Just as long as you just make the decision to do it for the long term. One of the other things that I recently saw, we'll check this out real quick, was a company called Supportcom. Now, if you remember, in middle of 2020 or sometime last year, Wall Street Bets, which is a group of investors on Reddit, began to chase the market for GameStop and several other small companies that seem to be going under. They seem to be underperforming. But what they did is they did what's called a short squeeze. They dumped a whole bunch of money in it, invested in it, so that the price of the stock would go up, and then at the top they'd sell off. They'd make a whole lot of money. But what it also did is it put the hedge funds into a really bad situation as well. Now, I don't feel bad for the hedge funds whatsoever, but what it did was these hedge funds were betting against these smaller companies, right? So they were betting that these stock prices were going to fall and they were going to keep going down. So what these Wall Street Bets came in and they did what's called a short squeeze, where they pumped a whole bunch of money in it. And like I said earlier, the price of their stock went through the roof. Now, they recently did this. I believe it was the same group of Wall Street Bet investors on Reddit did this to a company called Support.com. Support.com is fairly unknown. It's a software company. And it's been under the radar, but up until now, nobody really heard about it. And I guess they support companies in their like customer service and support online, that type of stuff. And let's check it out. Let's check out what this article says. Why Support.com? For the same reason that the traders doubled down on AMC and GameStop this last winter, to profit off of professional investors' short bets. Last month, Wall Street shorted Support.com stock, betting on the company's stock to go down. Amateur investors bet against their bets, attempting to short squeeze, and that can accelerate the stock's surge, like throwing Mentos into Diet Coke. But some there's some interesting news out that the SEC is actually starting to wanting to crack down, wanting to start to regulate these issues. So what they're doing is they're looking into these smaller apps like Robinhood and Webull and all these apps that relatively small investors or beginner investors can get and download on their phone. And what they're doing is they're going to be looking into cracking down to stopping, to preventing these types of things from taking place. And it's crazy to think about because over the last decade, apps like Robinhood have completely revolutionized the way people invest, the way people put their money into the market. Traditionally, you would have had to go through a brokerage company or a broker, and you would have to pay them some type of management fee to manage your money. It's called the Assets Under Management, I believe it is, AUM. And now what happens is with these apps you can download on your phone, anybody 18 years old and up can open up a free account, can get free stocks. Speaking of, there should be some links in the bio if you want to get 2 free stocks from Webull or Robinhood. You can leverage those stocks, get them, and keep them for a few days, cash them out, and take the money and run if that's what you decide to do. But there should be some links down there, kind of an unashamed plug I just did right there. But so what happened is these apps are really changing the entire game. And so the SEC, it's almost like, they're caught with their pants down because they don't really know what to do yet. These apps are so new that they still haven't figured out how to control them or regulate them. And we did see some crazy stuff happening with Robinhood over this winter of last year, where Robinhood had to shut down trading because of liquidity. There wasn't enough. I guess they have to pay exuberant amounts of fees in order to allow those trades to take place on their platform. There was a whole video that was done from the CEO. You can go ahead and Google that or YouTube that, and you can actually look in and listen and learn about the details behind that whole, them shutting down the app and not allowing investors to sell or buy stocks. However, it's like the SEC doesn't know what to do right now because these apps are so new. So they're still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out what rules to set in place. So I presume that there's going to be some investigations. There's going to be some lawsuits. Maybe there's definitely going to be some type of regulation coming down the pipeline in the next, probably next 12 months, 12 to 24 months. We don't have an exact time, but I believe that's definitely going to happen. They're going to somehow stop or try to prevent these young investors, these amateur investors, from trying to short squeeze these companies. In other news, Powell signaled the Fed will wind down stimulus measures in the coming months. So if you're like me, you like to kind of update yourself on the stimulus package on YouTube, maybe on podcasts, maybe through the news. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and every single day the landscape is changing. And so the Fed has a lot to do with manipulating what's happening in the stimulus world. If you're following child tax credits or American Parent tax credits, there's different things coming down the pipeline with that as well. If you do have kids, you should be getting a tax credit every single month, depending on how old your kids are, how many kids you have. You could be getting up to $1,200, $1,500, again depending on how many kids you have. But since 2020, the Fed has been buying $120 billion worth of bonds and mortgage-backed securities each month to keep the market working, like Adam Smith drew them up. So Jerome Powell is ready to take the U.S. economy off the injured reserve list. What does that mean? In a highly anticipated speech just the other day, the Fed chairman said that the economy, get this, the economy has recovered enough, quote unquote, that it can appropriate to start slowing down some of the Fed's pandemic-era stimulus measures. Now, Jerome Powell says that the economy has recovered enough. However, here's the caveat here. There's different strains of, I'm not sure if these videos will get taken down if I start to talk about these different buzzwords, but there's different strains of this particular thing that's going around right now. And each strain seems to be getting worse, and we're not sure what's going to take place in the next 6 to 12 months. In other countries around the world, there's lockdowns. There's smaller towns in Australia that are under, I hate to say it, it's almost like a martial law where they're being patrolled by the police force. They're being patrolled by aircrafts, by helicopters as well. I have some dear friends in Australia, so prayers for them. But there's some smaller towns that they're really locked down, really, really, really tight, and so the fear is that America is going to end up going that direction as well. So for Jerome Powell to say that the economy has recovered enough that it could be appropriate to slow down the Fed's pandemic era stimulus measure is kind of moronic, if you ask me. Why? Because we don't know what's going to take place in the next 6 to 12 months. We have no idea. I would assume it would probably get worse, before it gets better. That's kind of the idea. That's what I'm hearing going around. That's what experts are saying. That's what economists are even saying. That's what virologists are saying. That's what medical doctors are saying, that before things improve, there's going to be some type of thing, alternative situation that's going to take place. So, Lord willing, it won't happen. We cross our fingers. We hope and pray that it won't happen. But Jerome Powell's trying to tighten up stimulus package. Giving stimulus away. Now, one of the things that helps the economy is the manipulation of interest rates for homes and things like that. He doesn't foresee interest rates being changed or going up in the near future. They are at an all-time low right now, but there could be some manipulation there as well. But at the moment, he said that's not at the top of their priority list. What he doesn't want to happen is he doesn't want, as they wind down the stimulus programs, he doesn't want a taper, what's called a taper tantrum, when you pull back too quickly and the economy starts to freak out. People start buying things. They start, stockpiling again. He doesn't want that to happen. So they're going to be probably doing it over the next 6 to 12 months. Just to make sure it's a progressive thing that takes place. After Powell's speech, Goldman Sachs predicted that the Fed would give advance notice next month and then formally announce tapering off in November. So they're saying, we're September, October, November, December. By the end of the year, we should already be in full force of the taper. So there's some interesting news right there, guys. Give you a little bit of stimulus update, give you a little bit of interest rate updates. There's a lot to talk about. We can go on for hours, but for the first stream, I kind of wanted to just kick it off and just be totally free flowing and kind of just shoot the breeze as well. So if you did enjoy any of this content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you go ahead and give the video a like and drop a comment. Let me know what type of subjects, what type of topics you guys would like to cover. There is so much that we can talk about, so many different directions that we can take this type of channel. And I really want to make sure that I give the community what they're really looking for, right? So there's a fine line when creators create. The fine line is creating what you want to create versus creating what your community wants you to create. So I definitely want to build a community here. I want to build a channel where you enjoy checking it out daily or weekly or however many streams we do. Ideally, we'd love to do it every single night. Is that going to happen? I probably can't promise that it will happen every night. We can definitely try to get on a schedule every night. But what I want to try to do is stream around 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30, no later than really 10:30, just because after that time, people start winding down, wanting to go to bed. So as people start settling down for the night around 9:30 Central Time, which is like 10:30 Eastern Time, around that time, we're going to try to do consistent streams. Some streams may only be 10 minutes. Some streams may go 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. It really depends on what's happening in the economy right now, what's happening trending topics, culture, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of stuff happening in Afghanistan right now that we can cover. Maybe we'll dive into more of that tomorrow. But definitely leave any questions or comments that you have down below. And without I don't know what I was just going to say. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and end this stream right now. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Let's go. I've been on a minute.